Good evening, this is Corporal Critello with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Let's get started. And my computer's lagging a bit. Anyway, we have a 3v3 here. I don't think I've done a 3v3 yet. We have Rennyo as the Black Brother Captain. We have Voodoo Shaman as Lord Commissar Burn. And we have Ace of Swords as the Farseer on the blue team. That makes up the blue team. On the red team, facing off against the Farseer, is the Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord Eliphas. Here we have VeeCrack with that nice new helmet that I can't really get a good look at. And we have Retribution as the Red Brother Captain. That's quite a color for the Brother Captain. You can hear the electricity in his head going off. Anyway, they haven't started fighting yet. Still just capturing. They're getting their natural victory points. We're about to have a fight over here with Dire Avengers, the Chaos Lord, Chaos Space Marines, and Heretics. And the Banshee's kind of running to the side. Dire Avengers kind of out of position, gonna have to get forced off. Banshees are running away. Heretics worship so that the Chaos Space Marines can run in and shoot the Banshees. This that looked like it was actually going to the Heretics be forced off. Actually, both the Heretics and the Banshees got forced off. Chaos Space Marines, meanwhile, still on the field, and the Chaos Lord are still on the field. So it looks like LvLOP Llama got to the top of that fight. Here we have VeeCrack against both Rennyo and Voodoo Shaman. So right now, VeeCrack is getting doubled. His attacks are going to take garrison in this big-ass garrison here, so they will be fine because they don't take that much damage. But there's still a ton of units for the blue team in here. But because Rennyo is in the middle right here, his power, his natural power, is getting decapped because no one is defending this. Retribution, or not Retribution, Zeroistruth has pushed up all the way in here, and he's decapturing this power. We got Rennyo is starting to go back to protect his power, but it's a little late, to be honest. Meanwhile, red team does have full power farms up on both of their natural power nodes. Rennyo is starting to come back to protect his power. It has been decapped, but meanwhile, just because of that, red team has more than twice the power income of blue team. Middle looks like VeeCrack is actually taking the middle. He's kind of holding it. I guess because Rennyo had to fall back to protect his own power. So that just left Voodoo Shaman in the middle, and Voodoo Shaman, because of the power income that the blue team has, he's got over almost 600 requisition, but very little power. Anyway, attacks are still in the building, while Zero's strike squad is capturing the middle victory point. Over here, it looks like LvLOP Llama is continually winning his lane. He seems to always just be up front. He's got these contested points captured. He's in a fight where it looked like the Chaos Lord was going to die, but he did use Kill the Weak to restore his health. Now he should retreat, though, or he will actually die. He got very close. He's down to less than 20% health now. Banshees can run after, and they're getting very close to kill him. I think one more will actually kill him, but they can't get one more hit. Looks like VeeCrack was now forced off the middle. Guardsmen have pushed all the way in here, and the Techmarine did go down. Voodoo Shaman also does have Catachans on the way. They're not as ridiculous as they were in retail, but they can still be useful. Whether it's the disruption from Old Reliable or these improvised explosives that Voodoo Shaman is getting right now. Rennyo and Zeroistruth seem to have drawn even. These generators finally come down. Ace of Swords says make gens because they've had they've had less power income for this whole time, especially since Ace of Swords also lost his lane. LvLOP Llama captured this contested power node, and generators were built for the red team on that power node. But unfortunately, Rennyo is getting forced off by these double purgation squads that Zero has, and these double purgation squads are quickly going to destroy those generators. Rennyo he's got double stormtroopers, so those will put out range damage that can potentially force off these purgation squads, but they have to not get suppressed, because if they get hit by those flamers, they will die very fast and have to retreat very soon. We have another big fight going down here with the Eldar against the Chaos. We got Raptors jumping in. They seem to be doing a very good job. The Chaos Lord is immolating, and the Farseer has gotten Spirit Stones so that she can heal the Banshees. Wow, Raptors get out of there with only one model, but this battle, it kind of looks like it's favoring Chaos, but maybe not. This Shuriken in the back here is probably what's going to tip the battle in Ace of Swords' favor. The only thing he has to worry about is he does have to worry about the Farseer not dying. Alright, and the Farseer gets forced off. Most of the Chaos units get forced off, but let's see. Overall, I guess that was kind of an even... No. LvLOP Llama does kind of win that engagement because he gets to keep these points here, while Ace of Swords only has the Shuriken on the field. Meanwhile, all this is happening. I'm missing a big battle over here. Rennyo finally returns... Is this Rennyo? Yes, Rennyo finally returns the favor with the help of Voodoo Shaman. They bash all of these generators right here, and Rennyo is getting the decap. I guess they teamed up to go forward so that they could take out that generator farm. And meanwhile, VeeCrack is coming up here. He's got a Sniper Scout. Zeroistruth, meanwhile, now has 3 Purgation Squads. That is quite silly, and we're going to see how that works out. That's going to be really tough to deal with for anyone. We do have a lot of units coming to each other. Brother Captain is slowly walking away, just taking a lot of fire. Rennyo got Interceptors, so we have very different builds from our Grey Knight players are here. We have double Stormtroopers, Strike Squad, and Interceptors. Meanwhile, Zeroistruth has the Stormtroopers, the Strike Squad, and 3 Purgation Squads. It is quite silly. We got some kind of drop pod going up here. We got Stern Guard veterans, and those are going to do very well against the Imperial Guard, just because the Imperial Guard has so many infantry units that the Hellfire bolts, which it's turning out that Hellfire bolts are pretty much the reason you get Stern Guard veterans. They have 4 ammo types, and it's like, oh, you can switch them, but it's you mainly get them for anti-infantry with the Hellfire bolt. That's mainly what they're about now, unless they want to change that. That's really, it's not really. They're not actually that versatile, because the other forms, the Vengeance rounds, the Kraken bolts, it's better to just get like an upgrade on your tax squad. I mean, obviously the Stern Guards can switch ammo whenever they want, but you're going to keep them on Hellfire bolts for most of the time, because they're just the best. I even wonder if they're actually better against heavy infantry too. We have a big engagement going down right here, a sideways engagement. Ooh, let the galaxy burn. This engagement is definitely going to be a win for LvLOP Llama. These Guardians are in a lot of trouble. So is this Shuriken. So are these Banshees, and so is this Farseer. This is not going to, especially because the fire from Let the Galaxy Burn is causing damage over time. Banshees go down, and the Farseer goes down. Huge losses for Ace of Swords. I don't know how he's going to recover from that, especially since, I mean, Ace of Swords did get this power node back, but now LvLOP Llama is going to take it back, and he's got a full army. He's got double Chaos Space Marines, both with Eternal War. He should put a mark on them instead of getting Eternal War. Let's see, Heretics and Raptors getting forced off, but he's still got them alive at least. They didn't get wiped. Let's see. Yeah, and this power is going back to the red team. Although, meanwhile, red team never did rebuild this power over here, and maybe they don't need it. They did have the power advantage for a while, so they'll be okay. Looks like VeeCrack is coming back in here in the middle. Right now, he's taking back uncontested, although all of Rennyo's and Voodoo Shaman's units are over here. He's got this Plasma Cannon in the back. Plasma Cannons are great units in teams. I think they're great in general. It's just sometimes hard to fit it into your army composition when you might need something that's a little more essential. Although the Plasma Cannon is always nice to have if you can fit it in. We do have, now these Purgation Squads have been turned to Psi Cannons. So we have triple Psi Cannons. That's going to be tough to deal with. VeeCrack does have a very spare army. He's just got the Stern Guard, Sniper Scouts, obviously his Techmarine, which has the Signum armor, and we see that going off right there on the Interceptor Squad. Looks like a flare went down. Also, Canticle of Absolution from from Zero's brother captain. We got a lot of explosions going off right there. That was, I think that was Old Reliable disrupting all those units. And the Plasma Cannon Devastators. Ooh, big shot from the Plasma Cannon Devastators. Let's hope they don't wipe the friendly strike squad. Alright, this friendly strike squad gets out with 15 health, but they did almost get wiped by VeeCrack's friendly fire. Red is winning that engagement. I think a lot courtesy to VeeCrack. And now VeeCrack is also getting a Whirlwind. You don't see this a lot in Elite Mod, and I think it kind of means that the Whirlwind is not that great of a unit. But VeeCrack, you know, he kind of tries to use stuff that isn't necessarily used. He's going to try to make use of this Whirlwind. We'll see how it goes. LvLOP Llama, interesting. You know, if he got, oh, well, I guess it's not that interesting. He got a Havoc Squad, which seems like an odd Tier 2 purchase, but it actually makes a lot of sense if your opponent got a vehicle. And Ace of Swords got a Wraithlord to put him back in the game. And right now, let's see how this engagement is going. We got a lot going on. The Wraithlord, so far, it doesn't have an upgrade, so it's not doing that much range damage, but it still threatens a lot with that big sword it has. But it looks like LvLOP Llama is still managing things well. He's got his las cannon in the back here. It's probably going to take a shot off at this Wraithlord. And this is a really bad situation because it looks like Ace of Swords has been forced off. He lost his Farseer, and then the entire Chaos Army is here to take out this Wraithlord. Only the las cannon actually does damage. Well, it only does it's the only one that does significant damage, but it's just that right now this Wraithlord is unsupported except for the fact that Voodoo Shaman is coming to help out, which is a very good team thing to do. But now Voodoo Shaman is getting flanked by Retribution, who's coming all the way from the opposite lane to come over here and flank and take out that Wraithlord. So that's very good play by Zeroistruth. And that Wraithlord just explodes. But now we have an Autarch drop coming in. Would have done a lot of damage to that Purgation blob if it hadn't retreated. So we do have an Autarch here. Voodoo Shaman decides to revive the Farseer. Voodoo Shaman has the Power Sword on his Commissar. So very good team play. Voodoo Shaman's being a good teammate here. He's also getting another Guardsman squad, I guess, to replace the one that he lost. He has 2 Stormtrooper squads. One with Melt-A-Bombs, Melt-A-Guns, one with the Assault Kit. Good choices. Strike squad right here. I think a little isolated. I guess because Rennyo, where is his stuff? He's all the way in the middle over here. His strike squad, yeah. Rennyo does get a Grey Knight Dreadnought. See, we see very different builds from the Grey Knight players, and both very powerful builds. Retribution has the Purgation spam with the Infernos, while Rennyo has the Plasma Cannon Dreadnought. Alright, we got a flare going off to stop those guys from firing. But they also have the damage buff from the Teleporter Relay Beacon, and they also got disrupted by these Interceptors who have their Justicar. I like Interceptors. I think they're pretty good. People say they're like kind of bad. I like the knockback you can get from the Justicar, although I guess they're still worse than ASM because ASM got knockback without the Sergeant. One Purgation squad gets forced off. This Whirlwind, I don't know if it's actually doing much. Purgation squad is trying to protect the Whirlwind. VeeCrack now has a double plasma cannons. That can be really tough to deal with, but this plasma cannon is in trouble and goes down before I can even finish my sentence. This one will be fine, but that double plasma cannon could have done a lot of work. They attack us from behind, and will this relay beacon go down? Yeah, it will. And this Whirlwind will go down. I don't think it did that much, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Voodoo Shaman has backcapped Blue's natural victory point. So Blue is winning on victory points, even though they don't have the middle. We got fights going down here. Ace of Swords has unfortunately kind of been on the bottom of most of these fights, and he just loses his Autarch right as I'm talking. He's unfortunately not doing too well, and he just lost his Farseer too. So huge losses for Ace of Swords. That's very sad. And he even says, "I've played like shit. It's lost for me." And I mean, I don't want to say play like shit, but Unfortunately, he did lose a lot of engagements, did lose a lot of stuff. We have, I think, a Phantom Zeroistruth right here. If you look right there, there's a Zeroistruth that is invisible and only has shoulder pads, a helmet, and a gun. I don't know if that's part of the Zinch worship, or if that's just a bug in the game. Anyway, enough musing on that. Blue is coming back in the middle in full force. Voodoo Shaman has an all-infantry army. It's a lot of reinforcements, and he can't really reinforce in the field. VeeCrack says, I already did. You can't hear me or Lamb. I think he's actually talking to Zero, who might be trying to talk through his mic, but I don't actually know. Old Reliable goes down, just kind of disrupting. Unfortunately, it's not good to just disrupt units for fun. You should do it during a firefight, because then the ability just goes to waste and they don't actually take that much damage because they're power armor units. We got Inquisitorial Stormtroopers inside the garrison. Still not actually that much anti-garrison. This Grey Knight Dreadnought looks like it got hit, but it'll be okay. More flares going off to reduce the range of the plasma cannon. Huge damage from this, and Emperor's Wrath going down. Wow, that Emperor's Wrath actually has a lot of range. It looked like the Purgation squads were away, but they got hit, and these Purgation squads just keep getting disrupted. They probably should not have all retreated from that. I think only the one that was low in health should have retreated. The others could have stayed there and done a lot of damage. Ooh, I missed a plasma cannon shot that went off, and now we have a flank with the Let the Galaxy Burn, and that's going to wipe this Guardsman squad. It does a lot of damage to the rest and forces a lot to retreat, so Voodoo Shaman did lose a Guardsman squad there from the combination of the Plasma Cannon and Let the Galaxy Burn. That's tough to deal with. Combined AoE from two different teams will screw up Imperial Guard, especially Guardsmen. The bolter sound I find so weird coming from the Strike Quad and the Brother Captain, just because it doesn't shoot as much as the regular bolters. It sounds very stilted. Plasma Cannon on the Dreadnought knocks over the Brother Captain. Looks like the blue team is winning this engagement. They've got this big range blob right here. I gotta be careful with that range blob though, because they gotta watch out for these double plasma cannons again. Meanwhile, VeeCrack did lose his scouts. He does have the Stern Guards right here that do really good damage to... I think they also do really good damage to retreating units, but now they gotta go. They need to retreat because they just got hit into the fence. They broke all this cover. Double plasma cannons going off. Actually, this one keeps misfiring, so right now we're only getting the effect of one plasma cannon, but it's still pretty good. Watch this shot go off. Boom. All right. We got Zinch Marines from LvLOP Llama coming in through the middle along with his Chaos Raptors. As you can tell, I'm still doing the old version because I had some good replays to cast. I didn't get to doing it because my mic was broke, so we still have the old Raptor models. We have double Warp Spiders here from Ace of Swords. Warp Spider is generally considered an extremely strong unit. I think in the Elite mod, they kind of lost some prominence because... Ooh, let's talk about this Imperial Abyss, which seems to have missed everything. Let's not talk about it that much because it's not actually that good. Anyway, Warp Spiders. They're a great unit, fantastic. They do a ton of damage, but I think they've lost some prominence in Elite mod because of Dark Reapers. And Dark Reapers probably would have been a better choice here because the entire enemy team is our power armor races: Grey Knights, Space Marines, and Chaos. So, as good as Warp Spiders are, I think Dark Reapers would have been a better choice because they're not going to do. They'll do okay damage, but still not great damage. These Purgation squads right here, one at low health, but they're just destroying these generators right here, and Rennyo's kind of taking his sweet time to get down here. Rennyo, meanwhile, he's got the warding staff. It has an ability that, like, it's kind of like damage resistance, basically. And Interceptors jump in. Can they wipe this Purgation squad? No. And we have some kind of something coming in here. We have a Land Raider Crusader drop in. This is for Raz Gruzin. It's kind of isolated, but it's not going to do that badly because Rennyo actually doesn't have that much AV. His only AV is actually the Plasma Cannon Dreadnought. So we have this Land Raider Crusader right here, and we do have a squad to help cover it. These Purgation squads. Blue is winning on the victory points, but I feel like red has been winning on the fighting. Ooh, big plasma cannon shot goes off, takes out a model, and forces the Purgation Squad off. We have the Imperial Guard blob over right here, along with a Lehman Russ getting upgraded to the Vanquisher Cannon and the Elite Tank Crew. Green Knight Dreadnought is doing its AV damage to the Land Raider Crusader. Land Raider Crusader seems to be getting health back, though. I don't know how. Lehman Russ. Now, the problem with the Land Raider Crusader, or both the Land Raider Crusader and the Land Raider Redeemer, is that in a way they kind of don't really do AV, so against other vehicles they're not a good choice. And this Land Raider Crusader's in trouble now because it's against a lot of AV. Plasma Cannon Dreadnought, Melt-A-Gun from the Catachans, and the Vanquisher Cannon from the Lehman Russ is trying to get up these stairs so it can move back to some support. Farseer went down here. But it's losing a lot of health. I think it's being repaired. I think from VeeCrack's repair global. That's the only thing I can imagine that's repairing it. Even though it's not on his team, and that thing, no more repairs going on now. Voodoo Shaman says VPs because they're on the team. Voodoo Shaman. Oh, because they have a 3 cap. This Land Raider Crusader looks like it will go down. We got the Brother Captain beating up against it, although he decides to just run off. 148 health, and the Land Raider Crusader goes down. Double plasma cannons, meanwhile, knocking shit over. This victory point got captured for red, but now blue is taking it back. Ooh, double plasma cannon blast almost wipes these stormtroopers down to 27 health. We have an Emperor's Wrath going down on these plasma cannons. They both reduce them both to half health, but they both just retreat to this Land Raider right here. So we got another Land Raider. This time it's the Land Raider Redeemer, the traditional one, the one that's actually in the real game. Again, Land Raider Redeemer, no actual AV itself, and we got a huge rocket run coming down. And, ooh, almost wipes this squad right here, but I think they got reinforced from the Land Raider. Big blob. Wow, and the Vanguards are dangerously low on health. Big grenade launchers go off. I wonder if those grenade launchers were what took out the Lehman Russ. Wow, okay, and this Land Raider actually did help push the red team back into the middle, and the red team now winning on victory points. Rennyo talks about that purgation spam. These 3 purgation squads, they have psi cannons. Psi cannons do damage to anything. I guess one of the tough things about just this game is that you really need to manage the damage types because there's so many damage types. And usually you have units that are damage types that are good against anti-infantry, good against infantry like piercing, but are bad against like everything else. You have plasma, which is specifically for heavy infantry and super heavy infantry, and then you have a lot of damage types that are only good against vehicles, or they do damage against everything, but then the squad, like a las cannon, only has accuracy against vehicles. Grenade goes down from the stormtroopers, and now a Hell Fury Strike is going to wipe these stormtroopers, and we have like a close quarters. Alright, and these this entire blob just got forced off just because they got hit by a shotgun. I think that was really unnecessary. They were still like at really good health. They should have stayed there. Meanwhile, we do have Terminators coming in for VeeCrack, and he is getting the Cyclone missile launcher. It's a good upgrade now. Land Raider comes in here. I haven't looked at the war gear. Brother Captain right here has Mantle of Terror with Canticle Absolution and the Nemesis Demon Hammer. I should actually pay attention to what's going on here. Eldritch Storm goes off. Eldritch Storm is probably the best AV for one of those nukes, although it's still not quite enough to kill the Land Raider all by itself. This is the Land Raider Redeemer. Meanwhile, we got another Land Raider Crusader going in right here. These Terminators in a really bad position. Just too many units to deal with, even though they would normally beat all those units. Land Raider Redeemer at really low health right now. It's done. It does manage to get a good grenade launcher blast before it goes down. Voodoo Shaman did lose his Commissar. He also lost most of his units. And now we have another Land Raider Crusader coming from Razgruzin. The Land Raider Redeemer goes down. Now we have a dueling Land Raider Crusaders. That's the 4th Land Raider in this game. We do have the Plasma Cannon right here trying to do damage to this Land Raider Crusader, to Rennyo's. the victory points. Blue is at 29. Meanwhile, we got this Land Raider Crusader back here. Rennyo's Land Raider Crusader is down to half health. Zero's is still at full, but now he's also getting surrounded. And it looks like most of the support for his team is going to have to fall back, although the grenade launchers are really killing Voodoo Shaman's army. He's yeah, in a lot of trouble right there. And in the middle, we do have Warp Spiders kind of in the back. While all the action's going on up here, those Warp Spiders are capturing the middle. The brother captain right here is using his hammer to disrupt these units and do a lot of damage. Apparently does a 100 DPS melee. He also turns on the Canticle Absolution. I'm guessing it's like, it looks like the Inquisitor's ability, and I'm guessing it does like the same thing. And this Land Raider is in trouble now though, because we have the Purgation Blob, and these Justicars jump in. I mean, not the Justicars, the Interceptor Squad jumps in. They don't have their Justicar, so they don't knock the Purgation Squad over. And the Black Land Raider Redeemer will probably go down. Big, more grenade launcher blast, destroying a lot of stuff. Lots of fire coming out from these Hurricane Bolters. It's like 6 bolters on the sides. It looks really cool. I don't know actually how much damage it does. It looks like it does a ton of damage, but I don't know if it actually does that much damage. It seems to be shooting at these units right here, and they're not taking that much damage, although I guess they do have whatever defensive buff is coming from this. Another grenade launcher goes off. Goes off, I think, from the red team Land Raider, and it went off through the blue team Land Raider and hit all these infantry. And even though the Black Land Raider is low on health, this is actually now a winning engagement for the blue team because it has repair support, it has a lot of other units helping it out, and this red Land Raider realized that it has to back off now. Ace of Swords has lost a lot of units. He's lost so many units. He's getting Seer Council right now. I don't know if they'll make it in time to actually do anything. We got a Venerable Dreadnought coming off from VeeCrack to basically to support the Land Raider. That Land Raider just took hits from the Emperor's Wrath, but it did not die. It'll be okay. This Venerable Dreadnought's coming in here. It's actually a good situation. Zeroistruth is actually calling a GG. And there's only a couple seconds left in the replay, and the timer is counting down for blue, so it looks like red is going to take this game. And we have a 5th Land Raider coming on the way, but it will not make it into the fight, unfortunately. That was a pretty crazy game. 4 Land Raiders, 3 at a time. Hope you enjoyed.